Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1 for this, a Saturday news video. My goodness, it's been so long since we've done a Saturday news video, but so much stuff happened this week. I thought, we're going to bring it back. We're bringing back the big old Saturday news videos. So here we are, Saturday morning. We've got loads of stuff to go through. The Audi concept livery thing. Some more livery launches have been announced. We've got some news surrounding Cadalic. We've got some news surrounding driver numbers. A cursed burger in Australia. And what I honestly think might be the biggest news story of the week, although it seems to go on under a lot of radars, is the massive shake-up that has happened within McLaren's Junior Academy. So all of that to come in the news video. Before we get into that, though, remember to like and subscribe. And of course, a huge shout-out to the members: Dakota the Joyce Chain, Ron Myers, Simon Struhl, Michael Johnson, Mr. Eurovision 1986, Phil Ganzik, Sarah Jowett, Andy Jones, and the Facetious Badger. If you want to become a member, click the link in the description down below, either on YouTube or on Patreon. Also, let's not forget, yesterday, new video came out. We're back on Temu, this time buying cheap fake F1 merch for Christmas. So, that is there if you want to watch that as well after this one, of course. But let's start with our first story of the Saturday news video, which is Audi's concept livery. Now, the whole idea of a concept livery for me is a bit of a strange one, because they're not announcing the livery here. They're announcing what the livery could kind of look like and some of the colours that might be involved in the livery. It's a bit like a teaser trailer for a film. Or if you want to go even further than that, a tweet to tease that a teaser trailer is coming out to tease a trailer for a film. Because they've released these images, and to be fair, they have showed a real car as well. It's a show car, I should point out immediately, with these colours along the side of it. Now, this is not what we're going to see in Australia next year for the first race of the year in terms of Audi. Firstly, because there's no sponsorships on this, which will of course be on there. I think they got deals with like Revelaed and loads of other places as well. So they'll be there on that, slapped all over that as well. But in terms of just your basic design here, this is also not really what we're going to be having either, because I don't think they are going to go for a straight line right down the engine to split the silver, the black and the red. But I think what they're trying to do here is just basically show these are our primary colours for our team, and this is what it's going to kind of look like. We're going to go with the 4 rings in red. We're going to have a lot of silver as the base colour, but secondary colours of both black and red. And I think what they have revealed here looks quite nice. What's very interesting is this isn't even the first concept livery for Audi, because of course when they were announced they released a concept livery which was a hell of a lot more detailed than this is, and I think looked really good. They've obviously abandoned that to now go for this idea, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the finished result wasn't too far off this. I think the red that we see here on the back of the car will probably go all along the side pod, because that's normally what these designs do. The black will probably be for the top of the engine cover and that kind of shark fin type thing they have on the back, with the silver as the base layer. But yeah, I think this looks interesting. It's a good look. I don't like the concept livery idea, and I hope it doesn't catch on, because it's already a lot when all now 11 teams do their livery reveals. I mean, I remember the Red Bull one from a couple of years ago, where it was over an hour long of talking to mostly other Red Bull affiliated athletes, talking to snowboarders, and then at the end they showed off the Red Bull car. So the whole livery launch thing has got a tad out of hand as is. Now we're adding a whole other team. If the other teams get a whiff of this, we can tease a livery before we actually reveal it. Then, you know, we're going to go from the final race of the year, the very next day we'll be having concept livery season, into January of livery reveal season. It'll be non-stop. It'll get out of hand. We can't be doing this. But I think what Audi have really done here is just to get their names back in the headlines again. You know, just remind the F1 fan we're coming. We're going to be here next year. Don't forget about us. I know you're looking at that title battle between Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen, but don't forget about your good old friends at Audi. We're still here, and we'll see you next year. And I think that's what they've tried to do, and it's what they've done. We'll soon be on to livery reveal season, of course, and we have our first date for a livery reveal. It is January 15th, 2026, and it will be both Red Bull and Racing Bulls. I imagine in a big thing together rather than two separate things. But yes, that is our first date that we have for the diary. The 15th of January, we will see the official cars, well, liveries for Red Bull and Racing Bulls. This is the first team to announce their launch so far. Another car we shall see next year is Cadalic, of course, will be joining our grid as the 11th team, and this week they have held their first ever in-person track outing when Sergio Perez drove a blacked out 2023 Ferrari Formula 1 car, and this looks incredible. You want to talk about striking liveries? Just give this a go. It's lighter than all the other ones, and it looked badass, especially with Checo in the full black helmet as well. It looked terrifying. It was fantastic. It's just really quite cool. And of course, very important for the team as well to have this kind of in-person experience before their official first race in Australia. Good stuff all around. And also, I think now Sergio Perez might be the only person in the world to have driven both the 2023 Red Bull and the 2023 Ferrari, which means he has driven all the cars that won races in 2023. So congratulations to Sergio Perez on that tremendous achievement. Now more on Cadalic, because team principal Graham Loden has been doing some talking this week as well and has confirmed they will have their initial engine fire up before Christmas. So cogs are in motion both at Audi and at Cadalic, both of them aiming to hit the ground running. Audi have come out and said that their aim is to be in title contention by 2030. Best of luck to Audi on that, going from Sauber DNA. But, you know, if they can do it, that'll be tremendously impressive. Cadalic have not come out with such big claims. They are just quite happy to be there, I think, at the minute. But hopefully, both of them are competitive. Because I don't want to go back to a time like in 2012, where you have, obviously, what was it there? Was it 11, 12 teams on the grid? But you had the likes of Marussia, Caterham, HRT, where they were just dreadful and would consistently be at the back. And I mean, was it the only time Marussia ever scored points? That amazing Jules Bianchi drive in Monaco. But outside of that, they never scored points, and you always knew they were going to be at the back. That's not what Formula 1 needs. It's not what Formula 1 ever really needed. What we want is a grid full of teams who can compete for points, which is, to be fair, what we have now. I mean, Alpine are dreadful, but somehow they can still score points, and that's what we want. We want to go into a race weekend not knowing that there's going to be a team that always scores nothing. We want competition, and hopefully Cadalic and Audi will continue that. Audi probably should be able to, because they're all going off the back of that Sauber car, which has been very good this year at times, so they should have a relatively easy transition into the world of Formula 1. Cadalic obviously is a bit more difficult, but wishing them the best of luck. We know for sure that their focus will not be on F1 Academy in 2026. It's come out this week that all of the Formula 1 teams have signed a multi-year deal to continue sponsoring F1 Academy drivers, apart from Cadalic, who will not be taking part in 2026, but will take part from 2027. I think this is a fantastic thing to do. I think it's been incredible for F1 Academy to have the F1 connection there. We see so many of these drivers now within the F1 young driver system, such as, like, you know, Maya Vug, I think, was already with Ferrari, but someone like an Ella Lloyd in McLaren, or whoever it might be. It's great for them to have that experience, and that will help them progress through motorsport. I understand why Cadalic are waiting until 2027. I think that is the right choice to make, because I think they'll be very, very busy next year. That's been announced this week, but I'll let you know a little sneaky thing here. I knew this a couple of weeks ago. because I went to an event in the Storyhouse Theatre in Chester. I crossed the border into England, went to Chester, and went to the Storyhouse to have an evening with Susie Wolff. Talk thing. Very good. Very enjoyable. I got the book. 1 second. It's over here on the second desk. Here it is. Susie Wolff. It's signed. You can see there. Very enjoyable evening. And at the end, there was a question and answer session. I went in there thinking there's going to be questions here. I know what my question will be. I will ask if there's any truth to the rumours that she was going to challenge Mohammed Ben Sulayem for the F1, the FIA president's role. As soon as I sat down in my chair, I forgot what my question was until I left the theatre. I remembered then. So my question was not asked, but one person there did ask about Cadalic and F1 Academy, and Susie Wolff's answer was, I'm not allowed to say just yet if Cadalic will be joining F1 Academy, but the answer is yes, eventually they will. So I could have spoilt that, but I thought, no, I shall keep it to myself. Moving on, we're sticking with 2026 though, because this, I think, I've only just seen this about an hour before I started recording this video, so this is fresh off the presses news here. But from 2026, F1 drivers will be allowed to change their driver number every year. Now, the whole personalised driver number thing came in 2014, and since then, whatever driver number you have is the number you have. That has been the rules. So someone like a Lewis Hamilton has been number 44 since 2014. Someone like Max Verstappen has been number 33. Of course, now he's number 1 because he is the world champion. But if he was to not retain the championship this year, which is looking like it might happen, he would go back to 33 next year because that is his number. But this new proposal is that from 2026, if you don't like your number, you can change it. And what this means, it opens a few doors, because of course other drivers have numbers, and if you want that number, you've got to wait for them to retire, then retire for 2 years, and then you can pick that number up. A good example would be the number 6, which I think has been used by 3 different drivers since 2014. Rosberg had it, Latifi had it, and I think Hajar has it now. So, that number has been passed around quite a bit since 2014. Other numbers that's happened, like off the top of my head, 22 was Jenson Button, which is now Yuki Tsunoda. But if you were an active driver, you could never change it, but now you will be able to, which is interesting to see if anyone will, because a lot of these drivers, their driver number has become part of their kind of branding, if you will. A lot of them are selling t-shirts and hats and all that kind of stuff with that involved in there. And I think a lot of them have become attached to whatever number they have, which was what the initial idea was in the first place. And I think it's a good idea to have this kind of driver number system. One that comes to mind straight away is Charles Leclerc, though, of course, who currently uses number 16. Now, initially, the number that he really wanted was number 7. But that number was used by Kimi Räikkönen at the time. Now, I don't know the reason why Leclerc wanted number 7, but apparently he really wanted that number. The reason Räikkönen had number 7 was because that was the number he was using the year before this was introduced, and he couldn't be bothered to have another number, so he kept number 7. Now, because Räikkönen has been retired for more than 2 years, the number 7 is free. So if Charles Leclerc really wanted to, he could move from 16 to 7 if that's what he wanted to. Personally, I don't think anyone will change the number, just because these numbers become so synonymous with their branding and their identity, if you will, in terms of marketability and all that rubbish. So I don't think anyone's going to change their number, but maybe Leclerc is one to keep an eye on. And I think it's in general, I think this is rather interesting to see a number change. What if a driver thinks all of a sudden, oh, my number's unlucky, I've got to change it up? That could be interesting, couldn't it, hypothetically? My goodness. Let's move on to the McLaren Junior team. Like I said, I think this is the biggest story of the week. I've seen no one talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it, because this is huge. McLaren have signed up an 18-year-old driver who will debut in Formula 3 next year. His name is Matteo De Paolo, P-A-L-O. He finished second in Formula Regional this year to Freddie Slater, and he has joined the McLaren Junior team. But that is not the big news. Obviously, big news for Matteo Di Paolo, and best of luck to him for the Formula 3 season next year. But him joining, for some reason, has led McLaren to release 3 of their young drivers. And some of the names here are quite shocking, because the drivers released are Martinius Stenshorn, Brando Badoa, and Ugo Ugochukwu. Now, there's 2 names there immediately that I thought would not be leaving McLaren anytime soon. There's one name that I'm not too shocked about. Let's deal with him first. So Brando Badoa not had a good year in Formula 3 at all this year. He's scored 13 points all season. It hasn't gone well, but he is already signed up to be part of the Rodian team for next year. And what is actually quite strange about this is Badoa only joined the McLaren Junior team this year. He's been there less than 12 months and they've already got rid of him. So that is quite strange in its own thing. He hadn't performed well, but he's only just turned up. So quite surprising from there. Martinius Stenshorn is a huge shock for me because he finished 5th in Formula 3 this year. Got a couple of wins along his way. He's making his full Formula 2 season debut next year with Rodin, and he only joined McLaren last year, so he hasn't really been part of the team for long either. And what we also know is that, these junior seasons are massively expensive and sometimes do require quite a lot of backing from the junior teams, such as McLaren with these lads. So how will this affect the likes of Stenshorn, who's going to be making his F2 debut next year? Now he has no backing from a Formula 1 team, despite the fact that he did relatively well in Formula 3. But the biggest shock for me is Ugo Ugochukwu, because he's been part of the McLaren Junior team for 4 years. Only made his Formula 3 debut this season. He has been the one that McLaren have been backing for so long. Now, I made a video not too long ago about making predictions for F4 in 2030, and within that I spoke about 5 drivers to keep an eye on. Ugo Ugochukwu was one of them, firstly because I think he's very good, and secondly because McLaren have backed him for so long, and when McLaren reopened their McLaren Junior program, their big signings were 2 IndyCar drivers who were already well established, and Ugo Ugochukwu. He was their big, young, next big thing, and now he's just been dropped. Now, of course, his season this year has been very, very mixed. The start of the year wasn't great for him, but the thing with him is he's incredibly tall, and with height comes weight. When F3 changed their weight rules around halfway through to raise the weight limits, all of a sudden, he became so much better. In the last 5 races, he got 2 second places. He was in contention for multiple race wins. I think there was one point where he was driving quite well in Hungary, I think it was, and got smashed out by someone else. He's shown quite a lot of potential, and all of a sudden, he's just been dropped. After McLaren backing him for years, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. This also goes with, not too long ago, McLaren lost Alex Dunn, who was their number 1 prospect that they had. And he walked away, seemingly that's what the story is, that he walked away, he wasn't pushed. So all of a sudden, McLaren have just gone, right, we've lost our number 1 young driver, we're just going to push out these 3 young drivers who are doing quite well, and this 18-year-old kid, bring him in as well, we'll see how that goes. Imagine how he feels now. He's just been signed up, and he's seen 3 guys who've been backed for, I say years, most of them backed for a year, and have now gone. We hear a lot about when Red Bull mistreat their young drivers in terms of, pushing them up to the top team too quickly, then pushing them back down, and then just forgetting about them. In a way, this is far worse, because it's just 3 young drivers here who have shown some levels of talent, differing levels of talent, but levels of talent nonetheless, and McLaren have backed them, and then just gone, no thanks, you're done. So yeah, the big shock for me was Ugochukwu, because I thought he was their guy. But now, McLaren's junior team only has 4 drivers in it. One of which is the 26-year-old IndyCar driver Pato O'Ward. Why the hell he's in the junior team anyway, I'll never know. Formula 1 Academy driver Ella Lloyd, who of course is in there not only because she's tremendously talented and is probably my pick for the 26th F1 Academy Championship, but also because McLaren, by this contract, have to have an F1 Academy driver. They also have 15-year-old karting champion Dries van Lindelock, who is one to watch for the future, and now Matteo Di Paolo. So, best of luck to those four. I mean, Pato Award, I don't think that's ever going to happen in Formula 1, because if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. The other three, who's to know, but I do not like this at all, the way they've treated these drivers. It does not sit well with me one bit. Moving on to another McLaren driver, though. You might have heard this one before. His name is Oscar Piastri. He used to be the Formula 1 Championship leader. He is now second after having a bad time. Now, I was talking on the driver ratings video after the Brazilian Grand Prix. Why has this happened? What's happened to Oscar Piastri's form, which has led to it just completely falling off? This guy who was tremendously consistent all the way through the year, what's happened? There's been many different ideas. Some people saying that McLaren is sabotaging him, which I disagree with. There are others who say, well, yes, look at his seasons before. He always kind of falls off at the end of the year, which is more believable. But then I found one story here, and I think we have figured it out. It's actually because he's been cursed by an Australian beef burger. Now, if you're not truly familiar with this story, there is a food chain in Australia called Grilled, who had a partnership with Oscar Piastri. Their campaign was that they promised a free bonus burger every time Oscar Piastri was on the podium. But since that promotion has come out, Oscar Piastri has not stepped foot on the podium, which has made many people believe that this bonus burger promotion has cursed Oscar Piastri. So Grilled have come out and responded to this and basically apologised. This was Grilled's official statement. To everyone who believes in the curse, we'd like to apologise to you and F1 fans everywhere. We never meant to create a burger so delicious it could change the course of F1 history. So yes, we're sorry. Sorry our burgers slapped that hard. Sure, we can take a joke about a curse, but let's be real. We'd never bet against a guy like Oscar Piastri. He's our homegrown Aussie hero and will always be in his corner. So yeah, they've fully backed that, and they've released new merch called Certified Cursed t-shirts, and there's a little promotion here that says sorry not sorry about the cursed burger. They've also released hats and stuff, but they say that they have fully backed Oscar Piastri. They have changed what the entire promotion is now. So instead of getting a free bonus burger every time Oscar Piastri has a podium, they have now changed it to every time Oscar Piastri races, you'll get a free bonus burger. So that is massively moving the goalposts, because all Oscar Piastri has to do now is turn up. And you Australians, if you're out there, can get a free bonus burger from Grilled. So, go check that one out. And if you want to ask the question of why is it looking likely that Lando Norris is going to win the Formula 1 World Championship this year, it's because of Grilled and their promotion. They've cursed it, and they've handed the title to Lando Norris. So I hope you're happy, Grilled. Hope you're happy with yourself. You could have had your first Australian World Champion since 1980, but no, we're going to have Lando Norris instead. So congratulations. If you want to sponsor someone else for next year, may I recommend George Russell. That would be my recommendation. There you go. So that is all the news we have this week. As I said, the Christmas teamer video is out right now. Go check that one out. We'll be back on Wednesday for all things Wednesday Fun Club. Then we are back this weekend for all things Las Vegas Grand Prix. A track we've only been to twice, but a track that has delivered twice. So hopefully we're going to make it 3 out of 3. We shall wait and see. I shall see you there. Until next time, have a good one. Goodbye.